Okay, good morning. How are you? Yes, I'm very good right now. So, what I'm going to do this morning? Okay, as usual, I need to go to my workplace to start my work early in the morning, but it's not time for me to work right now, so I take advantage of the time to speak English. Yes, and my advice for all of you who want to learn English and use English for communication is that you need to practice speaking English every day, even it's just a very simple sentence. A lot of people, they are trying to learn so many things in English and they assume that that is a good way for them to learn English. But most of the time, they just learn English by heart. It means that they try to remember every single piece of knowledge in English and then they cannot produce anything. I mean that they cannot use English to communicate, they cannot use English to write even. That is a main problem a lot of students are dealing with. Alright? So I think that you need to change your way of learning English by spending more time practicing speaking English at home. Like me back then to many years ago, at that time I was just a sophomore student. At that time, I couldn't speak English very well, even I was an English major student at that time. But after taking the course English for Communication, English for Basic Listening and Speaking Skill at that time, the teacher who was responsible for that course, provided so many effective methods for us to practice speaking English. And I think that I did learn a lot from that course, and I did improve my English from that course. Yes, by just practicing, kind of very simple sentences, words. For example, just kind of a very simple sentence like, how are you? Yes, and a lot of people don't know how to put the right intonation on R. Yes, they just say something like "How are you? How are you?" That's the wrong way of making intonation. We need to make some stress on the word "are." How are you? How are you? Yes, I think that is also a very good way of learning English by practicing something very simple. Don't try to learn something very complicated and you cannot put it into practice in real life situation. I do believe that a lot of students right now, even who can pass examinations in English with flying colors, but they cannot speak English very well. That is a big problem. That is the biggest problem for a lot of students who learn English as a second language. You know that nowadays, if you just have the English certificate, it means that you just show somebody you have that, level of English, but it doesn't reflect anything. Whenever you speak out something, people can, have some, estimate, have some think about you. I mean that whenever you speak a piece of English, people can basically, rate your English. Even just a very simple sentence that I have just, given as an example. For example, what's your name? Okay, and you respond something like, my name blah blah blah. It means that you miss a sound. Yes, we need to. If you have the natural response to English, whenever people ask that question, you naturally respond with S. And if you don't practice, you will be easily missing that sound. Alright? Trust me on it, that is a long-term process of practice. But if you spend time practice, your English will be improved and your English will be, worthier I mean that you can use and you can work and you can get high salary with your English if you are able to speak. Alright, thank you.